Testing 1 2. Am I coming through? Oh wow. We got all kinds of messages in the chat. Can you guys see and hear me? Let's see. I got audio. Okay, that works. Just let me know you guys can see and hear me, if you can. Hello? Is anybody there? See and hear you. Oh, thank you, Christine. All right. What's up, everybody? Got a full house. Looks like Iraq is in the house. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for showing up. I appreciate you. Chola, thank you. Christine, thank you for coming by. Donna Baxter, how are you doing? Sending light and love your way. Hi, Brooke. Light and love, my friend. Good seeing you. BT, how you doing, brother? Thank you for stopping by. Hey, Crystal. Thanks for coming by. Carmen Martin, Missy Roberts. I always remember Missy Roberts is from Florida, my old stomping grounds. Welcome, Missy. Thank you for showing up. All right. Yeah, we can and hear you. Awesome. Well, I'm fully caffeinated, so let's get this show on the road. All right, guys. So today we are talking about spiritual awakening loneliness. This is definitely a problem that a lot of people are facing after spiritual awakening. Frederick Washington, welcome, my brother. Thank you for showing up. Pamela Bay, hey Pamela, great seeing you. I appreciate all of your all's support. Thanks a lot. And if you guys are watching this on the replay, much love to you. Thank you so much. Also, if you're at work and you can't join in the chat, but you're just listening, I'm sending love and light your way as well. Arzu, great seeing you. Thanks for showing up. All right, so we're gonna dig in because the people that watch it on the replay, they're like, "Will you get to the point?" All right, so spiritual awakening loneliness. So this is typically where you're having trouble meeting someone on your spiritual level after having had a spiritual awakening. So I think we should first address why you feel lonely. You know, a spiritual awakening is probably unlike anything that you've experienced in your life before. And so you're experiencing all of these new things that you may not even be able to understand or explain to yourself, much less how are you going to explain it to anyone else. And you get the sense that no one else is going to really be able to understand what you're going through. And this is very normal because when you have a spiritual awakening, your higher consciousness rises, your vibration rises, that heart chakra begins to crack. There's some light coming through, kind of like that egg. You know, when a chick is first born, there's a little crack in the egg and a feather peeks out. And over here we got a beak, right? So that heart chakra is the gateway to the higher consciousness chakras. Love is the gateway to higher consciousness. And so your current timeline, people, places, things, relationships, vocation, religion, may not be in alignment with your newfound sense of higher consciousness. So there's a lot of vibrational dissonance and discord where you feel no one understands you, you feel alienated. And of course this is the case because birds of a feather, right? If you were formerly asleep, you're probably not hanging out with people that are awake. So naturally, you know, everyone in your circle is probably going to be asleep like you were. But now you're awake and no one understands you. So this is where that spiritual loneliness comes in. And as well, you're going to want that initial spiritual solitude after having had a spiritual awakening when you first wake up, because you need time to hone your vibe. This is very important. So this is actually one of the beginning stages of the dark night of the soul. That old identity is dying but that new identity hasn't been discovered yet. So that in between is the darkness. This is the spiritual identity crisis. So when you're given time to go within in spiritual solitude and hone your frequency just means finding your authentic truth. What is true for you? This is also where healing trauma comes into play, because unhealed trauma is just a perverted or a distorted sense or understanding of what love actually is. And you can't express love as love actually is if you're looking at it through a lens of distortion of what love actually is. So when you start to get more in alignment with your authentic truth, you're getting more out of alignment with fear. So being asleep in the dark, right, is more in alignment with fear, right? Because your spiritual eyes are closed. So obviously you're in the dark. Everyone in your circle is typically in the dark, birds of a feather. And this is where that vibrational dissonance comes from, because they're more in alignment with the 3D matrix, which is more in alignment with fear. But you're starting to step into that source frequency, which is that love frequency, endless possibilities frequency, freedom frequency, abundance frequency, absolute health frequency, happiness, joy, things that, people in the 3D believe is something outside of them that they have to try to attract or get. You've waken up to the fact that this is your actual spiritual DNA, because you're a fractal of source having a physical experience. So when people around you think you're cuckoo for saying these types of things, it can definitely feel very alienating. You feel like the black sheep. I love being the black sheep, though. You don't want to be the rest of the crowd, right? You can't change the crowd if you're a part of the crowd, right? So that's where that spiritual loneliness comes from, and you want to sink into that spiritual solitude so that you can hone your frequency. When you're honing your frequency, you're not attracting those older types of relationships. So the types of relationships that we attract are a great barometer of where we are spiritually. Have you ever looked at an old relationship and said, oh my gosh, I would never date someone like that again? Well, of course you wouldn't, because you're not that version anymore. Maybe you've healed the trauma that needed validation from that type of person, right? So if you spend time in spiritual solitude to hone your frequency, heal those unhealed traumas that need validation from a particular archetype, whether it's validation from a narcissist, validation from some codependent person, whatever it is, you're going to attract a higher love, a love that is in more resonance with true love and not trauma-bonded love. So understand that it's by design that you're supposed to be in spiritual solitude for a minute so you can find your true vibe. Because I promise you, if you get out into the world before finding that authentic truth, in other words, you don't even know what your true identity is yet because you're still in that dark night of the soul, you haven't healed that trauma, you're going to attract in something in vibrational resonance with that old type of relationship that you said you would never go back to because you haven't found your authentic truth yet. Okay, so this acceptance of spiritual loneliness, you're never really alone, but spiritual solitude, this acceptance of it allows you to step in a state of receptivity where you're receiving the insight and the downloads that is allowing you to ascend into a higher and greater version of yourself, a version of yourself that doesn't people please, that doesn't seek validation, that doesn't seek approval, a more self-sovereign understanding of your own true divinity version of yourself. And I can promise you that version is going to attract a vibrational match, and you're not going to match with, whatever narcissist or somebody, right? So you want to hone your frequency first. So sink into that. When you sink into it, you're getting out of resistance. Resistance is like a stagnant type of energy. It's frustrating, it's confusing, and it just keeps you polarized in one place. But stepping into receptivity and acceptance that you're supposed to be alone for a minute to find your true, authentic signature allows you to trust the process. And then you very easily get out of this spiritual loneliness. Hey, Arzeus, I appreciate you, my friend. Thank you for your wisdom. Namaste. Blessings to you. Lightways love to you. Sending love to you. Oh, you guys are awesome. Wow, there's a lot of comments. You guys feeling that? Yes, my family is so religious. Yeah. When I say I'm spiritual, not religious anymore. Yeah, they probably think you're going to heck in a handbasket, right? You're going to be attacked by a bunch of evil spirits and all that nonsense. Oh yeah, they're calling astrology devils. Yeah. I won't even get on a religious tirade right now. It's very easy for me to get on a religious soapbox. And that's because I'm allergic to fear, right? When you step into love, which is the dominant frequency of source, you get allergic to fear. And that's actually a trigger for me. I'm going to be honest and vulnerable with you guys right here. That's a trigger for me. I'm allergic to fear. So obviously, religion is going to send me off of the rails because it's all based off of fear. Or at least the Abrahamic religions. I know there's a ton of different religions, but the ones that preach, condemnation and damnation and, all this stuff. I need my dolphin sound effect. Where's my dolphin sound effect? All right, what do we got here? Love your background. Thank you very much. Actually, I'm running into people more often now than ever that are on the journey. Yes, we're actually going to talk about that, my friend. Thank you for bringing that up, Frederick. Yes, people are leaving. The ones that are no longer a vibrational match are leaving. However, the universe always brings your vibe tribe, and that space that is now available for the people that have left is now available for your vibe tribe. So that's the mindset you need to have. I know what love is now. Awesome. Lost a friend so far, and my husband. It's getting further and further away. Difficult journey, not for the weak. It's not for the weak, and you knew that you were strong enough to go through this journey. That's why you chose this journey before you decided to incarnate. And as I just said, you've got a whole lot of room for your vibe tribe now. So be enthusiastic for who's going to show up that's a vibrational match to you. Tony says, good morning, beautiful soul. Thank you. Good morning to you, beautiful soul, as well. Thank you so much for this needed topic. From one black sheep to another. Absolutely. Black sheeps unite. Luckily, my close friends are raising their vibe with me. Yes, Brooke, let's actually jump into that because I see that there's some good resonance with that. So this kind of gets me to my next point of change your expectations, right? So it's very easy for your story to become, no one is on my spiritual level, no one understands me, everyone I meet is asleep. When you expect to meet people that are spiritually awake, you're going to attract more of that. So if we change our story to, oh my gosh, everyone I meet is awake. Everyone seems to be waking up at a record pace. I can't believe how many people are awake. I just ran into someone today who said that they meditate with crystals. What in the world? And, I would never run into that in my old circle. Or, we just had a conversation over lunch about starseeds. I can't believe this person brought up starseeds. Oh my goodness, So when you change your expectation to what you're expecting, so that expectation is, I'm running into more than enough people that are awake, you're getting yourself out of a resistant state. Resistance is, what you resist persists, right? So that resistance is, everyone is asleep. The universe just wants me to be awake, apparently, but die alone. That's not what the universe wants, guys. So when you change that expectation, you get out of that almost survival mode, right? Because complaining about something that you don't want to experience is almost like a fight or flight. It's a very resistant type of energy that does not have you in a receptive energy. We speak to each other with energy, guys, not just language. The energy body of that person you're meeting, as well as their subconscious, which is the heart. The heart is the energetic house of the subconscious. They're picking up your energy. Now, their conscious mind may not be aware of it, but when you're sending out receptive energy and you're sending out, I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt that you're spiritually awake energy, you're not assuming that they're spiritually asleep. Because that's the energy you're sending out, they're going to respond completely different to you. And you have to understand, since we're all source having a physical experience, the source in them may pick up on your higher awareness, even though if that person's ego, may not is blocking the fact that they're source, that spark in source is going to link with your identity as source, and they're going to be much more receptive to spiritual topics or spiritual awakening. You might even spark a spiritual awakening in them, and then you might become their mentor. You never know. So the universe is always very symbiotic with the people that you meet. So change those expectations. And this is a great opportunity to make some affirmations. Why not make some affirmations? If your story is, I can't meet anyone on my spiritual level, not only change the expectation, but make some affirmations. I give thanks that I have met the most spiritually awake people. Or I give thanks that I have met my design counterpart that is living from a 5D mindset, or I give thanks that my higher consciousness is attracting all of the people, places, and things that are in alignment with my higher consciousness. Whatever. You can make, an affirmation that is in alignment with what you want to experience. So change that expectation. It moves you into a state of receptivity instead of resistance. And what are you receiving? Well, you're receiving the possibility that they may be more awake than you think, and then they respond completely different to you. You guys feeling that? Why is it so hard to let go of the person that triggered your awakening? Well, a lot of that is ego. That's kind of off topic of what we're talking about, but the ego believes that you're losing something, and the heart understands that you're perfect, whole, and complete. So the ego is the one that wants validation. The ego is the one that wants to be right in that situation, whatever that situation was. She did this, I did that, and she responded to that. All of that is ego stuff. The heart knows that you are perfect, whole, and complete. And so you bypass the ego by sinking into the heart, and you focus on yourself. So when you say, why is it hard to let go of that other person? Because you're not letting go of that other person. You're focusing on that other person. Energy flows where attention goes, right? So if your attention is on that other person and not on yourself, you're not going to be able to let that person go. Focus on yourself. Give yourself something new to focus on. That's where your focus will go. And then, your sense of completeness and self-love and self-worth is going to rise, and you're going to attract someone that matches that. And then you'll realize that you're not even that same version that met that person. That person's role was to wake you up. Once you wake up, meaning you heal the trauma that attracted them in the first place, you're not even going to be that same version that met that person initially. Now the new higher version of you is going to meet a higher, more mutually beneficial love that is really meant for love and less for spiritual awakening, because you already had your spiritual awakening. I have released all expectations and have, our Zeus, thank you so much, my friend. #1 fan. Yeah, I see that. Thank you. Light and love to Aros. or Zeus. Sorry if I'm getting your name wrong. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And by the way, guys, donations are not, expected or required in any way, but they are definitely appreciated, and it lets me know that you guys really appreciate the content. So I appreciate that so much. Hope you have an awesome, blessed day, Arzeus. I'm becoming more comfortable with being myself. Most are afraid of being alone with themselves. Great point, Pamela Bay. I love what Michael Beckwith says. You got to love yourself when you're by yourself. I love that phrase. If you don't know how to love yourself, how can you expect other people to know how to love yourself? And how can you expect to know how to love other people? You've got to be comfortable in your own skin. Again, another reason for spiritual solitude. There's a reason behind there's a method behind the madness, right? Spiritual solitude is meant to get you to understand that love is your identity. Love is your spiritual DNA. So once that becomes your subconscious identity, your identity in your heart connects to the quantum field and attracts what you experience in the physical, then you share the same space with love effortlessly because you're just sharing space with another aspect of yourself. So this is one of the benefits behind spiritual solitude. You're honing your frequency. I actually love being alone. It's awesome, right? There's no distractions. You can when sometimes people require a lot of attention. Well, if you're distracted giving someone else all of your attention, how are you growing? Right? That obviously is going to take time away from you growing. Now, of course, there's a delicate balance. Nobody wants to be, alone, but there's a delicate balance there, which again, make sure that you're healing your trauma so that you're not attracting needy, overbearing, controlling, smothering type of people. If you choose yourself, others will choose you. Shout it from the rooftops. 1,000%, yes. And that kind of that goes well with, the universe is always going to bring what you believe you're worth, not what you want. Now, this always upsets people, and it's a little bit of a trigger warning, but the universe is going to believe what you feel you are worth. So if you are attracting toxic people, this means you don't know your worth. This has to be the case because someone that understands that they are the physical embodiment of love itself, because they're source. Self-worth is up here. Self-love is up here. Sense of sovereignty. You don't need validation and approval. That toxic person isn't even going to get a chance. First of all, they're not going to share the same space with you because it's a vibrational mismatch. Secondly, manipulators and narcissists and all that, they're predators. They can smell, unhealed trauma. They want to prey on the weak. If you're strong, they don't. They're like bullies, right? They pick on the weak kid. They don't mess with the strong kid, right? So you're not going to attract that. And if you do, because your sense of self-love and self-worth is so high, there's so much vibrational dissonance with this person, you're going to kick them the heck out of your vibrational space ASAP. Like, you're not even going to give them a chance. So if you're giving a toxic person a chance, you've got more healing to do because you don't know your worth. So this is why I say your vibe attracts your tribe. But what is in your vibe? Is there unhealed trauma in that vibe, right? So we gotta heal that vibe. Let's see here. Janine Kirkwood, haven't seen you before. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you for coming to the stream. I appreciate you. I feel fully at peace with myself and have released all my baggage. But after a year of splitting up with my ex, I still find myself thinking of him from time to time. That's normal. Don't be hard on yourself. But again, as I was telling the other person, I believe it was Frederick, focus on yourself. Sink back into your heart. It's the ego that wants that closure. The heart doesn't need closure. It's the ego that wants to feel that there was a right and a wrong, and did I get vindicated, and was I all that story. It's all story. Who cares? It doesn't matter. In love, it doesn't matter. Love is the dissolvent that dissolves everything. Let them be right. Who cares? Let them hurt you. Who cares? That doesn't mean it's not going to hurt. But at the end of the day, when you release the egoic need for some type of validation and being right and who hurt who and all of that, you live such a free life. And freedom comes from the heart. And then you're free to express. The ego is fear. That's why you can't express, because fear is the barrier to expression, right? But the more that you're in your heart, the more you're able to express your authentic truth, and then you get a vibrational match to that authentic truth, and you meet this person that you believe is a soulmate or the one or whatever label we like to put on things. So sink into your heart. Aloha Alani. Hey, Aloha Alani. Again, so hard to concentrate. Okay. Have some coffee. Sensei. Oh, I like that word. Self-worthlessness. Self-worthlessness is crucial along with unshakable trust. I like it. You guys are talking amongst yourself. I like the Light Fam doing that. They will drop like flies. Yes, they will. Because it's not a vibrational match. Oh my God, love. I like your username. David, learning this empath narcissist dynamic. So I made a video on that. And again, that's off topic. I'm not going to go too far down that rabbit hole. But empaths do not attract narcissists. Unhealed empaths attract narcissists. This piggybacks off of what I just said. If your self-love and self-worth is up here, you're not even going to give a narcissist a chance. They like the easy target. They can smell unhealed trauma a mile away. It's like blood in the water for a shark. Ooh, I can emotionally manipulate this person. They're seeking validation. When you're coming from that seeking validation space, an emotional manipulator is going to latch on to that. But when you understand your own true divinity, your identity as love itself, and you don't need outside validation, you're perfect, whole, and complete as a fractal of source. When you're no longer seeking validation, you will no longer seek narcs. You'll no longer attract narcs. Alan Cohen says to say, so what? I love that. Yeah, a lot of times it's just not that serious. It really isn't. The ego makes things, it turns a mountain into a molehill. Mountain from a molehill, something like that. But does the heart blow things out of proportion? I haven't noticed that. I've noticed the ego blow things out of proportion. And since the ego comes online after we come into the physical, the ego is more in alignment with the physical. It's not in alignment with source. The ego has a hard time understanding the existential. So let's go with the heart and not the ego. Well, there's a lot of comments here. I don't want to get off track. Let me see. I made a couple of notes here. What am I? The ego comes online after we come into the physical. The ego is more in alignment with the physical. 1 second. Oh, yeah, I wanted to mention this. So when we're talking about spiritual awakening, loneliness, I get a lot of, does the universe want me to be alone but awake? And so we have this concept that the universe is something completely different than us. It wants something for us that we have completely no say about. It's something separate. you are the universe masquerading around as Chola, as Tony, as Arzeus, as Sensei, as Missy. So you're the universe. So the universe is expressing and living through and as you. So if your heart's desire is not to die alone but awake, then it's not the desire of the universe either, because your heart's desire is how the universe expresses itself through you. You see what I'm saying? So if your heart's desire is not to be alone but awake, then it's not the universe's either. It's probably your story. This is so let's dive into what the pushback that I get. A lot of the pushback that I get is, but I am doing the work. Okay. So a couple things with I am doing the work, but I'm still attracting, knuckleheads or whatever, right? So I am doing the work. Okay. Don't discount the work that you've done. Definitely give yourself kudos for the work that you've done. It's not easy doing shadow work. It's not easy releasing all of that trapped energy, that trapped resentment that comes out as emotion. Those are tough emotions to sit with and sit through and ask, what is the lesson here? Where am I in alignment with fear and out of alignment with love? Don't discount the work that you've already done, but ask yourself, have you completed the work? This is the thing, because there's still something in your frequency that's bringing the people that you don't want to your vibrational space. So a good way to just check whether or not the healing is complete is check your triggers. That's the easiest thing. A trigger is like that scab on the wound. The wound is the unhealed trauma. Well, if you pull that scab back and that wound is still open and fresh, that's unhealed trauma. That trauma hasn't healed yet. But if you peel that wound back and there's freshly new grown skin and it doesn't even hurt and that scab just falls off, that trigger just falls off without any emotional charge to it, then you've completed the healing, right? So you want to check the trigger that's in alignment with whatever your particular unhealed trauma is. Are you triggered by feeling abandoned? If somebody is not returning your call or your text in the time that you think that they should, or, you're worried that they're going to leave and you're clinging, there's some abandonment trauma that we need to work on, right? Or if there's a self-love issue or not feeling worthy or feeling good enough, no self-confidence, low self-esteem, that trigger in alignment with that particular type of unhealed trauma still needs to be healed. And so you're going to be able to look at that and see, well, do I have a trigger around that? Well, no. I set my boundaries and defend them. I'm not seeking validation. I'm not seeking approval. I just attracted this new person that also has a sense of completeness from them, so they're not wanting anything from me. This is also a good test to see if you're doing the work, because if you've attracted someone that has their own sense of completeness and they're not trying to get something from you, so in other words, your incompleteness did not attract their incompleteness, or your sense of incompleteness didn't attract their sense of completeness, because in reality, you're both complete. Your ego just doesn't make you aware of it. Then that's a great test. So if there's something in your field that is attracting, whatever, a narcissist to your yard, there you go. Your vibrational milkshake attracts all the narcissists to your yard. You got to fix your vibrational milkshake, y'all. And their life is better than yours. I'm on one today, sorry. Oh my goodness, that's funny. Yeah, I love that. You got to fix your vibrational milkshake to attract the right divine counterpart to your yard. What is your vibrational milkshake like, fam? Oh man, this is too fun. Oh my goodness. Yeah. What is your vibrational milkshake attracting to your yard? I want to know. Oh my goodness, I forgot what I was saying now. That's a good one. I like that. But so so let's say that you're working on that unhealed trauma, right? When you're healing your unhealed trauma, your behavior is also going to change, right? So for example, let's say I've been using the example about abandonment trauma, which causes you to be over needy, over clingy, over controlling, over just smothering, and then you chase this person away. But then the spiritual ego jumps in and says, "Oh, well, that person just wasn't awake." Really? Really? They really weren't awake? Or are you just using your, no one is on my spiritual level as a bypassing mechanism to not heal your abandonment trauma? We got to take an honest look. We got to stop and take an honest look and not try to, throw everyone under the unawakened bus because you're the one that attracted them. Okay. So this is the splash of water in the face, right? This is the tough love. You got to always look within, guys. There's some frequency that is aligning there, right? Now, having said that, let's say you have done all the work. Our Zeus, I love you. I'm going to read that in 2 seconds. Let me finish this point real quick here. And I appreciate you, my friend. Lots of love and blessings to you. But let's say you have done the work. You've pulled that scab. There's no pain. There's no emotional charge around to a sense of feeling unsafe or unworthy of love or not good enough or worry about being abandoned. You are sovereign. You're not seeking approval. You have a sense of wholeness and completeness. You're not looking for anyone else to complete you. But you're still attracting knuckleheads to your yard, right? Well, this is where I say change your story. So if your story is I only attract narcissists or I only attract emotionally unavailable, that's another popular one, I only attract emotionally unavailable, there still has to be a frequency there to attract it, but let's say that you have done all the work and you have no triggers at all. Which I'd like to test that theory of no triggers, but then you want to change your story. And this goes back to what I was saying in the beginning. Change your story. Your new story is I'm meeting, my vibrational counterpart that is living from a 5D mindset. Or I have met, so many spiritually awake people. It's just absolutely amazing. You want to change your story. The universe is always going to show you the vibrational equivalent of your story. What is your story? Well, it's your BS. Belief systems. So, I feel like that's a dad joke, but anyway, your story, your vibe is just your belief system. And because this is a universe of consciousness, omni-consciousness is everywhere. We live in a soup of consciousness. We are conscious creative centers, and it's our beliefs that create what we experience, right? So you change your story to, I have met more than enough spiritually awake people. I give thanks that my 5D divine counterpart has already been brought to me. And this brings me to another point. Have you made space for your vibrational counterpart? So, and this kind of reminds me of someone's comment earlier where they've lost some important people. Well, that person, the universe, made space for them. But have you taken the initiative to make the space? So, if you're wanting that divine counterpart to come in, have you chosen which side of the bed is yours? And are you sleeping on that side every night and then leaving this open for your divine counterpart? Are you making space in the closet for when your divine counterpart comes in? Have you added a second toothbrush in the bathroom for your divine counterpart? Have you emptied out a couple of drawers where your divine counterpart can put their clothes? Have you made space in the driveway for your divine counterpart? So you're changing your expectation and you're making space for that expectation to come in. And then what you want to do is you want to be that divine counterpart. You want to be that divine counterpart because at that moment you're just sharing space with another aspect of yourself, and then it's a vibrational match. Why wouldn't you be your divine counterpart? You're the physical embodiment of love itself, completeness, wholeness, perfection. These are all the things of Source, and you're a fractal of Source having a physical experience in this physical avatar for a minute, right? So when that becomes your identity, you simply share the same space with it. You don't have to try to, go out and attract. When it's your vibe, it's going to naturally attract. Get out of the divine masculine. Divine masculine is go out and get energy. A lot of you guys wonder why you're not attracting certain things, but you're very much in your masculine energy going out, right? Divine feminine is attractor energy. You're attracting, and that's when you're in your heart space. So get out of your head, get to your heart, and then you're in attractor energy. And then what you are attracting is a vibrational match to your identity. Make sure your identity is in alignment with your true identity as Source having a physical experience, which means by default, you're going to have the correct worth, right? Because the universe is going to bring you a vibrational match to what you believe your worth is. So make sure that your worth is up here so that, you experience the people that you actually want to experience. I had a super chats question. Let me scroll back. Man, there's a lot of... I'm sorry if I'm missing your all's comments, guys. There's a lot of comments here. Okay, our Zeus says, I get angry quick with my father because I want him to take care of himself and be healthy. So I know I have healing left to do. I don't know why that bothers me. Attachment, love that song, Milkshake. Well, he's your father, so you love him, right? So you care about his health. So it's very natural. So don't beat yourself up about that. But someone else's path is not for you to walk. You can give them the guidance and the tips and everything to understand, but they have to be the ones that take that first step. And I don't know what your father's health, ailments are. Maybe it's smoking or junk food or alcohol or whatever. But there's a very famous saying that says, before you try to help somebody, make sure they're willing to let go of the thing that made them sick in the first place. So, this is where ego and the story and all of that stuff of the person that you're wanting to help can kind of get in the way of you helping them. So when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. You simply give them the knowledge and try to plant a seed, but you don't want to be too much in their lane, because that's just going to be a lot of resistance if they're not willing to change. Let's see. I'm going to try to jump into some of these. SG, hi SG, I haven't seen you before. Thanks for stopping by, my friend. Isn't possible that our energy supports to shift others, which coals trigger them. Oh, could trigger them. Got you. Yeah, absolutely. So understand that your light is in alignment with love. That light is going to shine on anything that's in the dark. So what happens when something is in the dark? It's brought into the light. So if it was in the dark, it's probably in alignment with fear. Not always, but there's something there. Because again, there are very good things in the shadow that the ego has repressed because it believes that it wasn't necessary for survival. So not everything in the shadow is bad. But a lot of times, this is Namaste. The divine in me recognizes the divine in you. And when that person recognizes the divine in them, they also recognize all the things that are not divine. Or at least, let me take that back. Source is everything. So Source is also all of the things in the shadow, regardless of the vibrational dissonance. Source is also a vibration of fear, just a higher vibrational dissonance from the dominant frequency. This has to be the case because Source is all things. And this is why we don't make an enemy of the shadow, because you're also making an enemy of Source, which is internal division and self-hate. So never make an enemy of the shadow. But yes, the divine in them is going to recognize not only the divine in them, but also what is out of alignment with the dominant frequency of the divine. And that's going to bring up a lot of triggers, because the things that are in alignment with fear are now being brought to the surface. And that's that great fight. That's always the fight between love and fear, because they're two polar opposites, right? So, your newfound sense of fearlessness, endless possibilities, going after these big dreams is going to make them realize that they're playing it small, and they wish that they could be as brave as you. And then they beat themselves up for not being as brave as you, and that comes out as some type of aggression towards you, right? But really, they're upset with themselves for not being where they are. So that's just a small example of how your light is going to bring things to light in them that they're not so proud of, right? So I hope that answered your question. Oh my goodness, there's a gazillion comments. Brooke says, I feel like as a feminine trying to manifest something or someone is very masculine. I feel like as a feminine trying to manifest something or someone is very masculine. Oh, yeah, exactly. Trying to manifest is masculine energy, for sure. Feminine energy is just understanding that you already are that, and then it's going to attract naturally. There's a very famous saying, I don't know if it's an ancient Chinese proverb or not, but when the flower blooms, the bees come uninvited. What does uninvited mean? Well, they just come naturally. You don't have to go out and get it. The bees will come, right? So, in other words, is the flower blooming if you're seeking validation? Is your flower blooming if you're seeking approval? Is your flower blooming if you're trauma bonding to somebody to ease your abandonment trauma? No. Make sure that your flower is blooming by healing the trauma that is in alignment with fear and out of alignment with love. Take that lens that perverts and distorts your perception of what love is off by facing those unhealed traumas and healing them. When we say heal, we mean taking the higher vibration of love, applying it to the lower frequency of trauma, and integrating it and raising it into your more dominant frequency, so that you have a greater sense of wholeness, completeness, and you're identifying as love itself. When you identify as love itself, you don't have this concept that you got to go out to get love or attract love, or no, you are love, and you just share the same space with it. We've got 11 minutes. Let me hit this. I think there was one last point. Something else I wanted to say about. Oh yeah. So when we're talking about spiritual awakening, loneliness, and a lot of people have trouble finding their vibe tribe, this is where the age of technology comes in. So technology, social media, allows us to connect with everyone all around the world. I mean, look at look at what I'm doing. I mean, all of you guys are from different places all across the planet. So what I would say is, if you're looking for that vibe tribe, go through your social media accounts, see which accounts you're following that are very 3D, because you're feeding your mind that stuff, right? And your mind is just kind of mindlessly drinking that in as you're scrolling. But what if you changed what you're programming yourself with? What if you programmed yourself with spiritual awakening content? What if you learned about, higher consciousness, or how to get through the dark night of the soul, healing trauma, whatever it is. So you want to unfollow the 3D accounts. And when you start following those higher vibrational accounts, I gave some examples in a video one time. So some of my examples of accounts you can follow on social media: Dr. Joe Dispenza, one of my favorites; Michael Bernard Beckwith, one of my favorites; Bruce Lipton, Greg Braden, Teal Swan, Abraham Hicks. You guys might not have heard this one. Lightways. There's this guy Lightways, man. I'm telling you, he's speaking some fire. You got to check this Lightways guy out. But, try to follow high vibrational accounts on social media, and then you'll see people leave comments under those posts, and then you might interact with those posts, and then you two might become spiritual support buddies. Maybe that person is going through the dark night of the soul. They're in stage 2, you're in stage 3, and then you guys help each other out, and they want to tell you their story of transformation and healing and how they're living their greatest life. And now that gives you inspiration that you want to live your greatest life. But you wouldn't have gotten that inspiration by following, I don't know, the mainstream media, right, with their contrived and controlled narrative of fear and nonsense, or following some gangster rapper, right? That's not going to force you to go within and identify as love and then act from that place. So just look at what you're feeding your mind and connect with your vibe tribe all across the world on social media. It's why I don't watch the news. Yeah, no, it's... there's a soapbox there as well, so I won't get on that soapbox about the news. Frederick Washington, my man, he says, you must first become what you want to attract. Yeah, be the change that you want to see. And this is where a lot of law of attraction people, their enthusiasm is a strong enough force to attract what they're wanting, but then they hit a stumbling block because it stays in the mind. The mind, obviously, thoughts create things. We all know this. The mind is very strong, but the heart is the powerhouse. The heart is the powerhouse. The mind sets the intention and vibrationally links you to that parallel reality, but until it's in the heart, which means the subconscious, until it's the subconscious identity or the subconscious belief, that's where you keep it long term. Yes, you can manipulate energy short term to get, what you think you are not already. But if it's not your identity, it's going to leave your space because there's no vibrational congruence there. It's not your identity. Oh yeah, I manipulated energy and I got this, promotion, or this person that was out of my league, quote unquote. Everyone's in your league, your source. There's no leagues. But, someone you've placed on a pedestal, they came in. But if your identity is not absolute love, completeness, and wholeness, they're not going to stay because there's not a vibrational congruence with what you attracted. You manipulated energy in the short term, which is the ego. It has to bridge the gap from the head to the heart. Once it's in your heart, it's long term because it's your identity. It's hard not to live your identity, guys, so make sure you're changing your identity to what you want it to be. Hey, Elizabeth. I remember you're on some crazy time zone, Australia, right? So I know it's an interesting time for you to show up. I appreciate you making the effort and stopping by the Light Fam. Lisa says, love those guys you mentioned. That guy, Lightways, on fire. Check him, peeps. Namaste. Oh, never heard of the Lightways, right? I don't know. He's making an uproar in the spiritual community, I think. Who knows? Then you find your vibe tribe, beautiful people. Yes, Light Fam is one of them. Is one of mine. Good vibes tribe, absolutely. No news is good news. There you go. The heart is the powerhouse and subconscious. I will process that. Yes, process. God's signs help keep me on track. What's very interesting about that? So your spirit guides are always going to let you know what you're energetically aligned to experience. And this allows you to not focus on the appearance of the absence of what you want to experience. It allows you to not have doubt in what you're wanting to experience when you get these, angel numbers, 555 or 222 or 333. Whatever those numbers mean to you specifically, your guides are going to give those to you to let you know what you're vibrationally aligned to experience. So that tells you to keep doing what you're doing, basically. Or you might get numbers that mean the opposite of what you're wanting to experience, and then you know that you need to adjust your frequency. This is why I always love having, a bond like this with my spirit guides, because they always let me know if I'm on or off track. Oh, Johnny, what's up, brother? Great seeing you. Thanks for coming. Tony, David, can we talk about the second ego, that arises after the old ego dies? I think that's important to share as well. Well, there's an ego that arises right before the new ego comes online, and I'll say something very short about that, and then get to the ego, the identity that you're talking about. Make sure that you don't step into the spiritual ego. This is the thing. When we first wake up, we have this newfound sense of understanding of higher consciousness, the workings of the universe, our place in the universe, how we affect the universe. We get this new sense of spiritual enlightenment, and then the spiritual ego gets formed. You don't want to form the spiritual ego, guys. Because the spiritual ego, so the ego is non-physical. So the ego wants to prove that it exists because it's non-physical, right? So the ego is always going to be searching for validation and approval that its newfound belief is correct. And then you start trying to push your spirituality down people's throats, and then you're no better than the Bible beaters, right? So don't step into that. Stay in your own lane. Your journey is for you to validate and approve, and for no one else to approve. No one else can eat your food for you. You can't eat their food. Stay in your lane. Now, the new identity that you're talking about, Tony, is the identity that is more in alignment with the reason that you decided to incarnate. So this is why healing the trauma that keeps that greater version shackled in the shadow is so important, because once that greater version comes onto your timeline, you're going to be more in alignment with the reason you decided to incarnate. You did not decide to incarnate to be a people pleaser. You did not incarnate to chase validation. You did not incarnate to trauma bond to people to ease your abandonment trauma. You did decide to do those things in the short term to learn how to heal them so that you can step into your freedom. Once you've faced that fear and healed that fear, you get a greater understanding of what love actually is, not a distorted and perverted understanding of love, which is really in alignment with fear. So that new greatest version is going to be more in alignment with your life purpose, whatever that may be. It can be something grandiose, I want to inspire millions, or it can be just being in the present moment in a state of wholeness, completeness, calmness, presence, and just spreading love. And then your candle can light 1,000 other candles, and your candle still stays lit. You're just like a lighthouse in that dark, stormy sea for other people to find you, and then their light comes up. So you're kind of setting an example for everyone in your circle. David, Tony is asking about the spiritual ego. I think I hit that. Just jumping in, but pumped for this love. Yes, this topic is something that has been heavy on me lately. This is confirmation, at the very least, that I'm not alone in this feeling. Yeah, you're not alone at all, because this is what everyone goes through after they have a spiritual awakening. And again, it's designed to be that way, so that alone time allows you to hone your frequency. Honing your frequency means getting out of alignment with all the things that are in alignment with fear. Fear blocks your authentic expression. So when you heal those things that are in alignment with fear, you're able to live an authentic and free life. Authenticity is synonymous with freedom. Thank you. Hi, Johnny. Brooke says, Christine, I think we are David's bouncers. Uh-oh, was someone getting unruly in the in the chat? That's all love in the chat. I love that. Brooke, looks like it doesn't. We got you, Tony. All right, so you guys are doing and talk amongst yourself there. That's awesome. I love you guys are supporting each other. This is my fave way so far. Hey, Woodley, what's up, brother? Good to see you, my man. Pamela Bay, very nicely done, David. Johnny, so true. All right, so you guys are talking amongst yourself. Any questions? We hit that hour mark there. Oh, we got a question here. Do you have advice for honing the frequency other than meditation? Yeah, shadow work. Yeah, heal the trauma that is keeping you in alignment with fear in some way, being inauthentic, being chasing validation, seeking anything that's keeping you from being a sovereign being, which is your true identity. Heal that. Our light can help others find their light. Hello from Southern Cal. Hey, Michelle Richardson, welcome, my friend. Hello back from Southern Cal. Thank you, Brooke. Johnny True Love. Hearts. Love it. All right, guys. So that was the Lightways live stream on spiritual awakening loneliness. I hope you guys got something out of it. 369, what is the meaning? That is Nikola Tesla. That is his, that's actually and I don't want to do off-topic questions too much here, but it's a technique where you write something 3 times, and then you write it 9 times, and then you write it 6 times, or something like that. It's like a manifesting technique type of thing, if I'm understanding it correctly. But again, just be it, identify as it in your heart. You can do this in meditation. Get into meditation where you're in the theta brainwave state. This is the brainwave state of the subconscious. And then you create the affirmations that you want to reprogram your subconscious identity. And then you attract your subconscious identity. David, have you done a video on shadow work? Yes, I've done 2. Just search my channel on shadow work. Conscious breathing, self-awareness, mindfulness, all helps. Yes, yes, yes. Unity with all. We're never alone. Correct. Nicely done, David. This is my fave. I'm in Australia. I'm from UK. Sharon Woodhall, I haven't seen you before. Thank you, my friend. I think I've seen you in my comments before. I appreciate you stopping by. I really appreciate the support. I always get something from Lightways. Shine your light, fam. Thank you, my friend. Oh, my goodness. All right, guys, so we hit the hour mark. Let's see. I've got some announcements. May 4th. May 4th is the live free webinar that I'm hosting on my group coaching program. It's a 45-day group coaching program. So I'll be discussing the features of that. The features of that program are self-love healing, self-worth healing, and shadow work, how to meditate, that type of stuff. Link in the description of all of my videos to attend the webinar. I'll send you the free invite. Also, I would like to ask the Light Fam if they could come to my rescue. Light Fam Unite, please. There is a knucklehead on TikTok that has created an impersonator account. My profile picture and my videos and stuff, and so they've created this impersonator account on TikTok. The problem is that you can't report them on your cell phone. So if you click report account and it says who are they impersonating, my name doesn't show up, Lightways 5555 35s, as who they're impersonating on the cell phone. But you can do it on the desktop. The impersonator account is Lightways 54. Lightways 54. So if you find that on TikTok on your desktop and click report account, and then who are they impersonating, then you can put in Lightways 555, and then they'll go away. I don't know why TikTok has taken like 3 weeks now to take this impersonator account down, but these impersonators, they'll DM people, trying to get money out of them for some scam service, and it's nonsense, and I don't know why TikTok can't delete these fake accounts. But anyway, if you guys can do that, remember you have to do it on your desktop. All right, so that is enough of my personal needs. This is about you guys, not me. I'm here for you guys. And I believe that's it. All right. Vampires. Yeah, they are vampires. Yeah, they really did, Lisa. It's crazy. I don't know why these people just can't get a job. Like, stop scamming people. Anyway, all right, guys. So I love all of you. We will do this next week. Next week, I believe I have my first interview for Lightways Live. So I'm inviting a guest onto Lightways Live. I don't want to announce it yet because this person has not confirmed. They've given me a yes, but I want to lock it down first. So keep an eye out for next week's live, Thursday, 9:30 a.m. Pacific. I'm going to bring on a guest. It's going to be a very high vibrational type of thing that I think all of you guys are going to love. All right. I'm sending light and love to all of the Light fam. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next video. Namaste.